Everybody's talking about Kevin Willard. What's going to happen? Is he going to Nova? When's he going to Villanova? Florida's just sitting there licking their chops after surviving UConn. But Matt McCall, what the hell? I mean, how weird. How weird. It's so weird. I feel
it's almost like it's almost can they just name an interim coach? Just give an interim tag to somebody.
Yeah, let somebody else coach the rest of the way. Get him out.
What do you mean?
No, I'm not saying,
let him coach. Let him announce it.
I'm not. I'm saying give an interim tag to Villanova. Interim tag to Villanova. I'm not saying Maryland. I'm saying interim tag to Villanova. This is the problem, and we're going to get into this. We're going to get into this later in the show. But this is the problem, that everybody is so freaked out and consumed with the transfer portal that these coaches are getting hired literally when their private plane off the NCAA tournament is landing on the runway. These coaches are on the way to another school. Nico Medved on the way to another school. Richard Pitino on his way to another school. Doesn't even get an opportunity to celebrate being in the NCAA tournament. So now we have this situation where everyone is pointing because there was a rant about not being able to stay an extra night in New York City in a hotel. Yeah. There is one of the best jobs open in the country in Villanova, who the expectation is national championships. You have a coach that has also had tremendous success in the Big East, who also just lost his athletic director. So there's just so many things that are pointing to this is the guy that they're getting ready to hire. This is him. And you can't even avoid the distractions. Like you can't even avoid it. Like this is what it is. No. But I will say this.
Guys, they just had the moment of the tournament. They are our March Madness. They are our buzzer beater.
But it's almost one of those things, child. It's almost one of those things, Childos. It's just there's too many signs that say he's going, and maybe he doesn't end up going. Maybe he doesn't end up going. We don't have the information that says it, but it's the AD is out. The rant about the hotel.
Yes.
His success in the league. All these things. There's just so many different things. But in terms of basketball. In terms of the matchup, you know me. I'm a Gator alum, spent 11 years working at the University of Florida. Todd Golden is doing a phenomenal job. But this is a team that can push the Florida just like UConn did the other day because of the physicality in the front court. Because of Derek Queen, because of Reese, they can push the Gators because of the Crab Five. Because they've also been on the West Coast the entire time. They haven't come home. Florida flew from Raleigh back to Gainesville, had to travel all the way across the country on Tuesday. Maryland's just sitting out there. They're in their cold tubs. They're used to the West Coast time. They're used to the Pacific time zone. So this is going to be a great game. But the topic is not necessarily the basketball. It is the Villanova job, which is unfortunate because we have a great matchup in the Sweet 16 with these two teams.
An unbelievable matchup with these two teams. Are you kidding me? I mean, Derek Queen is a joy to watch. The Florida Gators, my God. I mean, the way that they came on the second half of the season, snatching a 1 seed in this tournament, the way that they won the SEC tournament, you've seen them the last couple of games against UConn. What a show by Walter Clayton. I mean, that guy you talk about championship pedigree. He put the damn team on his shoulders and said, no, this isn't happening. We're winning this damn game. And they did. This has it all. You look at Gillespie and everybody. My question is for you, Michael Tula. Depth-wise, everybody brings it up with Maryland. Is this the game that it becomes an issue?
I mean, you can only play 5 guys. So and their 5 guys are really damn good. So it hasn't been an issue for them all season, and I don't expect it to be an issue for them now. The issue, I guess, if you want to say there is one, is that they're playing the deepest team in America, in my opinion, in Florida. And so, look, I think for Florida, I think it's really easy to try to use like prior results or, hey, they didn't look as sharp against Norfolk, and they they didn't look as sharp for, a good majority of the game against UConn. But we've just seen this too many times in the NCAA tournament where we go back to Kansas in 2022, that, the round of 32 game, if you have a team that hasn't really played together a ton and is experiencing maybe the NCAA tournament, not necessarily for the first time, but with that target on your back for the first time, that's different. And you're playing against the defending national champions, and you're playing against a coach in Danny Hurley that would have died out there to win that game from the looks of it. I just think like that 2022 Kansas team, they played Creighton in the round of 32, and it was a 1-point game with like 50 seconds left. Mm-hmm. You survive that. Now, I think there's just, and McCall, maybe you can agree with this, there's something to surviving a close game like that early that almost gives you like a new lease on life for the rest of the tournament.
Yes.
Like, okay, we experienced it, we went through it. And Walter Clayton, he was great late, hit the big shots, but Elijah Martin freaking won them that game. The tap out on the free throw block out, the offensive rebound. And then when they went to their two big lineup, Florida, and Alex Condon had to chase around Alex Caravan, that was not a good matchup for Condon. And you know what they did? They took Condon out of the game, and you know who started guarding Alex Caravan? Elijah Martin. Mm-hmm. So like he 100%. He was such a pivotal part of that game. And I'm fascinated because I look at the biggest matchup of this game to me is Queen and Condon. That is the matchup because I think Condon has the ability to bother Queen because he's 6'11", he's mobile, he can move. He has all the tools, I think, to make life a little bit difficult for Queen. But on the flip side of that, sometimes talent can transcend that. And Derek Queen is freaking talented. And we've seen him. Yeah. Saw him a few weeks ago against Michigan with Vlad Golden and Danny Wolf, and that dude had 31. Didn't bother him at all. And so if he can have another performance like that against a player like Condon, now you start talking about Derek Queen on this stage doing that again after the buzzer beater. Is he a top 5 guy now? I mean, all that's on the table. I think this is an unbelievable matchup. I'll probably stick with my pick of Florida, but I've been waiting for this game since the brackets come out, and I'm glad it came to fruition.